le 46 mars sur la place de la République quand des centaines de personnes investissaient un lieu pour faire de la politique dans le sens premier du terme, organiser le vivre ensemble. Un espace démocratique de dialogue où l'on pense les choses ensemble. Quelle merveilleuse synergie de groupe, quelle ouverture au dialogue, quel engagement qui renoue enfin avec le véritable espace démocratique, celui du débat entre personnes concernées. Parce que la démocratie, ce n'est pas que le vote.
La démocratie, c'est le vote.
Sinon, d'essayer de tenter de changer certaines choses, de voir que le peuple peut se diriger lui-même. Parce que sinon, qu'il pourrait ?
Dans le contexte actuel, voir que les citoyens se réveillent, échangent et prennent confiance en eux tous ensemble est certainement une très bonne nouvelle. Chacun prend conscience qu'il a beaucoup plus en commun avec son voisin que ce que les discours habituels des politiques et des médias veulent nous laisser croire. Alors si vous aussi vous en avez assez de l'absurdité du monde tel qu'on nous le vend, n'hésitez pas à vous rendre sur les places pour échanger. Tous ensemble, nous sommes sans doute capables de trouver des solutions à nos problèmes. Ça s'appelle la démocratie.
Global Debaut, International Day of Action on May 15th, 2016. We call for a Global Debaut Day of Action on May 15th. We call on people's movements across the world to mobilize for justice and real democracy. 1 million people mobilized in Paris, and the movement Moot Debaut continues to grow. In numerous French and foreign cities, Moot Debaut, Night on Our Feet, is a light in the dark. It gives testimony to our hopes, dreams and common rebellions, those who have taken the squares in the past, and those who are taking them now. We know something is happening. The struggle for a better world is global and without borders. Let's construct together a global spring of resistance. Moot Debaut's first aim is to create a space for the convergence of struggles. There exist numerous links between social movements in all four corners of the world, from unemployment to the imposition of the financial markets, from the destruction of the environment to war and unacceptable inequality. In response to a system based on competition and individualism, we answer with the solidarity, participatory democracy and collective action. Our differences are not a source of divisions, but rather our strength. As we complement each other's struggles, we are neither listened nor represented by the current economic system. We are the 99%, and we are here to reject the financial and political rule of the 1% and their world. We are here to take back our cities, our places of work and our lives. We will rise up together for a global day of action on May 15th. Moot Debaut everywhere. #Global Debaut.
L'idée est alors de sortir la mobilisation face à la loi travail de ses seuls cadres traditionnels. C'est décidé après la manifestation du 31 mars, on ne rentre pas chez nous. On investit l'espace public, on se rencontre, on discute, on partage et on montre aux puissants que nous valons mieux qu'eux, que nous sommes plus nombreux, plus déterminés qu'eux et que nous ne voulons plus nous faire écraser pour permettre à quelques-uns de s'enrichir indécemment. Rendez-vous est donné le 31 au soir à République et malgré la pluie, les gens sont là. Très vite, ils s'assoient, discutent, apprennent à réfléchir et à prendre des décisions ensemble. Des personnes aux histoires diverses, vieux militants, jeunes en galère ou simples curieux, mais partageant tous l'impression que le monde pourrait tourner beaucoup mieux. La loi travail n'est qu'un élément parmi d'autres. Ce qui rassemble, c'est un ressenti partagé, celui que les choses fonctionneraient d'une meilleure manière sans les milliardaires, politiciens, experts en tout genre qui plongent le pays dans la crise depuis des décennies. L'impression, au-delà des différences, de s'être tous fait déposséder d'une partie de nos vies par un système et de devoir se battre pour reconquérir des choses essentielles comme la dignité et la démocratie. Les personnes se trouvant sur la place sont de plus en plus nombreuses. Elles tiennent chaque jour des assemblées populaires où chacun peut prendre la parole et apprend à écouter les autres selon des règles édictées collectivement. Elles se rassemblent en commission pour préparer des actions concrètes ou pour améliorer la vie collective, construire des campements, organiser le ravitaillement en fonction des besoins de chacun. Et dans une volonté de s'ouvrir à toutes les personnes qui pourraient être concernées, elles se forment à diffuser largement ce qu'elles sont en train de créer. C'est ainsi que, grâce à l'application Périscope, l'Assemblée générale du 3 avril ou du 34 mars a pu être suivie en direct par plus de 80 000 personnes. Cette ouverture, tant aux outils d'aujourd'hui qu'aux problèmes touchant l'immense majorité des citoyens, cette volonté de mieux faire, d'avancer ensemble, sans parti, sans bannière, sans étiquette, semble répondre à une attente commune enfouie depuis trop longtemps. Ainsi, plus de 60% des Français sont favorables au mouvement Nuit debout et le rejoindraient s'ils le pouvaient, preuve s'il en est que les exigences de dignité et de démocratie dépassent largement les clivages traditionnels. Autre preuve de cette correspondance entre les aspirations portées par la Nuit debout et celles qui existent en chacun de nous, le mouvement est en train de sortir totalement de sa localisation parisienne et de gagner de nombreuses villes du pays. À Toulouse, à Nantes, à Bordeaux, mais également à Orléans, à Perpignan, à Tulle, à Lorient, à Avignon ou dans plein d'autres villes que nous n'énumérerons pas ici. Spontanément, et les citoyens investissent les places pour échanger et faire entendre leur voix. Le mouvement commence également à s'étendre au reste de l'Europe, avec des nuits debout organisées à Berlin, à Madrid et dans plusieurs villes de Belgique. De quoi redorer l'image de la France, trop longtemps restée silencieuse sur le plan international et souvent salie par les décisions irresponsables prises par les gouvernants.
I think the labor law was only a pretext. For me, my friends and other people who are here, it's a way to show that we're fed up with just about everything.
There are no leaders nor activist groups behind the movement. The site has become a magnet for people who want to show their discontent.
We are not here to make a claim. We are here to make a stand against the government's methods that are not democratic.
One activist on Twitter saying that the Place de la République is the new beating heart of popular democracy. A conscious people are standing up. And another one here, this is what democracy looks like, he says. Thousands in the General Assembly discussing social justice.
We have to reclaim our vocabulary to reclaim our ideas.
Protesters criticize the government, which they say is controlled by the richest segments of society. They want to make France more democratic by changing the constitution.
Night Rising is a citizens' revolt. Their goal is to retake power from oligarchs, the richest 1% of the population. To do that, they need to change institutions. This means changing the constitution.
What is so inspiring there is that the way that they connect to each other, the way they talk together, the way they take such a long time to listen to each and every one. After 5-6 hours of these general assemblies, it's really a movement that is with very strong personal connections. In 2011, all this movement in Wall Street, in Occupy Wall Street, in Spain and everywhere, were just opposed to political parties. They wanted to reclaim politics from parties, and that's exactly what's happening today at the Place de la République.
Бъдещето трябва да се определя от гражданите, а не от политиците. Хиляди французи са убедени в това и вече 3 седмици го демонстрират на ключови места, като площада на Републиката в Париж.
Тези хора работят във фабриките. Те осъществяват производството. На практика цялата ни икономика е в техни ръце. Те имат власт над събитията и ние сме тук, за да ги мобилизираме.
Смисълът на тези събирания будни нощем е да повярваме на нашата сила, защото нямаме повече доверие на нашите управляващи.
Всяка гражданска инициатива може да бъде представена в рамките на 5 минути пред един от десетките комитети, организирани по теми. Вечер Общо събрание гласува и приема най-добрите идеи на будните нощем.
Nous expliquer directement dans la rue, nous allons pratiquer une politique de démocratie directe.
May 13, 1968, the 10th anniversary of de Gaulle's return to power. Hundreds of thousands of workers join the students in an act of public defiance. Nowhere in the world have workers responded so massively to student initiative. It is a confrontation with the whole authoritarian heritage, yet an oblique, almost playful confrontation. It does not antagonize the public and keeps the authorities off balance. Chanting of slogans echoes in the streets.
Down with the bourgeois university. University of the people. All power to the workers. French police, Nazi SS. Stop fascism here.
At the Sorbonne, the collapse of traditional authority is total. The police are withdrawn from the Latin Quarter and the students take charge both of the university and of the surrounding streets. Regular academic functions cease. The professorial nobility commits corporate suicide. The university gets its revolutionary government, its student soviet, founded on continuous discussion. Students reject expertise, hierarchy, academic and political neutrality. The lecture halls and courtyards are filled with endless discussion. Seriousness is combined with freedom from tension. People want to talk, to listen, to express themselves, to exchange views. Everything is put into question. The role of the student in the university, the role of the university in society are re-examined as action committees spring up in every institution of higher education. Traditional institutions appear to collapse of their own weight into popular democracies. The students appear to be launching a new civilization. Discussion centers around the ideals of participation and self-expression. An increased share in decision-making and guarantees for expression become both the means and ends of the revolution. The political demands of a minority of workers, usually younger ones, and the more broadly held economic demands of unions provide the stated goals for the strike. Demands for worker control and the 40-hour week, for participation and higher wages appear side by side. On May 22nd, hundreds of thousands again take to the streets. Half holiday, half revolution, the dissatisfied citizens refuse to recognize the legitimacy of representative authority. The demonstrators reject traditional political processes as a farce, chanting, "Voting is whoring, election is prostitution." The Chamber of Deputies is dubbed the Chamber of Sellouts.
Bismarck, qui n'est pas en peine d'affamer les Parisiens, nous demande la Lorraine, l'Alsace et les Alsaciens. La honte pour nos soldats, des milliards à son service. Zut à ton armistice, Bismarck, n'en voulons pas. On nous permettra du reste pendant 20-25 jours de manger ce qui nous reste de vieux chars de rats et d'ours, mais plus le moindre repas après le vote au comice. Zut à ton armistice, Bismarck, n'en voulons pas. Je fais la guerre à l'Empire, disait le maître effronté, et le valet...
The wealthiest people had already fled the city because they were frightened of revolution. Essentially, the government withdrew. The state actually left the city, and the city was left with no officials, no functionaries, no police, no magistrates. It was an incredible opportunity in a sense, and the working class took advantage of it. They began to lead their own lives. And for 72 days, they did so. Association, of cooperation, of mutual aid, examples of what lives look like when they're really emancipating themselves. You know, when they are going about the whole process of essentially dismantling a state apparatus, step by step dismantling of state bureaucracy in an incredibly short bit of time. It's an example, an incredible example of lives led differently and outside of the path that was subsequently taken by, say, capitalist modernization on the one hand, or, you know, the kind of erecting of state-managed socialism on the other. What was valuable about the commune was their own working existence. They transferred all public services into the hands of the commune. Now, what that meant was that tasks still existed, but they could be performed by anybody, anywhere, and at a worker's salary. They suppressed the standing army and replaced it with the armed people. Meaningful for us today when we look at attempts to kind of reorganize our lives in terms of certain notions of regional self-sufficiency, you know, or delinking from various kinds of transnational economic structures like the World Bank or anything like that. Direct cooperation of all energies, all intelligences, all involved in every single detail of everyday life. Different resonances in a word like that. There's, the desire to organize your own social life. There's a powerful demand for local autonomy.
Плачете за Париж, дето робът, човекът, като не чуе думите му, разума му, улавя се за крайност и се бори на живот и смърт, доколкото му позволява средствата, които са ниски, защото са малки, а малки само зато и защото им са ги отнели господарите. Лудите не може никой утеши, бесните не може никой окрути. Свобода или смърт, хляб или куршум, за да направих скитника гражданин. И от него да зависи градът, а не той от града.
Български войвода, момци са тез,